Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're starting right at the beginning of web development with HTML. HTML is basically the skeleton of every single website you've ever visited. Without it, the web just wouldn't exist. And the best part, it's one of the easiest places to start coding. Let's get started by using Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is supplied by Microsoft, and it's one of the most common editors used. It's good because you can use it to help code and make things a lot easier for yourself. So let's start by creating a new file. In here we're going to create a new HTML file. Let's just call it index.html. And in here you can see that the bit where my cursor is, the select language mode, that means that because that recognizes that it's HTML, it will help actually write the code for you. It'll save time. So to give an example, let's start with the HTML. So HTML is essentially based on a series of tags. So here's an example of a tag. And you can see that has now completed the start and end tag. So what is a start and end tag? It's essentially a container. This is the start, this is the end, and the bit that defines the end is the forward slash. There are more ways to write it, but for now we'll just focus on this. So the HTML defines the actual core element of the page, and everything will be written inside it. So let's start with some basic content. So we'll start off with the header tag. So the header tag contains key information that's usually used by the browsers themselves. So this allows us to tell the browser what this page is going to contain. It's used as part of search engine optimization. So let's say that we did a page on funny cats, then the header would have a title, funny cats, for example. There's other tags such as meta descriptions, meta keywords, and again this is used in order to help people find this particular page when you search for it in Google or Edge or Microsoft or all those types of things. So now that we've defined the header, let's focus on the actual content. So inside the content we'll have a section called body. And this section shows what the user will see. So there's many things that we can write in here, and we'll start off again on a very simple example. So if we do a header, a H1 tag, that means this is my most important header, my header 1. So you'd put your title here, for example, and this is what the user would see when they go into it. We'll cover how we can style this in a future video. But for now, you can see this is a way, no difference to Word, where you can have headers 1, header 2, subheaders. It just gives you a different look and feel and a way to differentiate these. But we'll just stick with header 1 for now. After this header, we'll do a paragraph. A paragraph is essentially saying, I'm going to write this bit of text and I'm going to contain it in the paragraph tag. So that's defined as a P. And we can put anything in here. This is an example of a paragraph tag. Okay, so there's our basic content. Obviously it's not taking us very long. However, it's not the most exciting. So a common thing you'd want to do is put an image on there. So inside an image, you have an image tag, and you have what's called an attribute inside the tag, and all that essentially means is inside the first tag you can say this element has this property, and the property in this example will be the source of the image. So let's pretend that we have an image on the same folder, so we'll do something like testimage.jpg. This can be a full link or a full reference, or it can be a relative reference. So a full reference would be the actual full domain name. So you may have it on, let's say you wanted to show Google, and you have a image there, or it would be relative, in which case the file would have to be located in the same, in this instance, folder as the index.html page. Next thing we can focus on is a link. So it's great having your index page, but you may actually want to link to other pages in your site, or even pages externally. So this is done using an A tag, and inside that you have a H reference, and just like the image, it's just a way of saying where the user should go when they click on this. Now this one's an interesting one, because yes, you've got your link tag. So let's just type something here. So index2.html. So when I click on this, it's going to take me to another page called index2. But if you just showed up on the page, you wouldn't be able to see it. So that's why you'd want to put some content inside that tag. So link goes here. So all this will do now is you'll have a bit of text. You'll probably see it go blue, and then it will, when you click on it, it will try to go to an index2 page. Another interesting thing with the link tag is you can actually define what happens, or how you get redirected to that page. So you have a section called a target. When you do the target, again the advantage of using Visual Studio Code, it gives you the options that you have for certain attributes. And inside this you can see you've got blank. Blank will open the link document in a new window or tab. Self opens the document in the same frame. You've got parent. This will open the document in a parent frame. So we'll cover that in more depth in a future video, where you have something called iframes, but we'll ignore that one for a minute. And then you've got top, which opens the document in the full body of the window. The last two are probably a bit more advanced for this opening video, but you get the idea. You have a degree of control here. So that's our first page. Now there's many things that we can explore and we can expand on, but in terms of creating our first page, defining some content, showing an image, and creating a link on that image, this is a good introduction into how HTML can be written. Now there's a few bonus points, which is in future videos we'll be using the header to link external files into this page. So that's when we'll talk about CSS, that's when we'll talk about client-side code or client-side scripting. So we'll link in some external frameworks, and that's it for now. So that wraps up today's lesson. Here's a quick recap of what we did. We started by learning what HTML is and why it's the backbone of every website. Then we set up Visual Studio Code and created our first file, index.html. we explored the basic structures of a web page. Next, our first visible content, headers and paragraphs to see how the text shows up in the browser. After that, we learned how to add links and images, and that's it for now. So I hope you enjoyed the following video along and building your very first web page from scratch. Don't forget to check out our community in the description below, share your projects and connect with other learners. Next video will be even more exciting than this one. We'll make it look cooler and more interactive, so stay tuned. Also, stick around for a funny meme at the end. It's totally worth it. Thank you for coding with us today, and I'll see you soon.